Hi everyone, welcome back to AI Agentic Bros, and today we're going to be diving into how to actually build out a LinkedIn article generator. Before we do that, I would suggest checking out our AI starter kit, just a little something that we put together for free for people looking to get into AI. It's three modules. In module one, we look to kind of pull back the curtains behind LLMs. In module two, we go over best practices for prompt engineering. And then module three, we kind of put our AI workflow together. Also, if you're really into n8n and building out AI automations, check out our product AI Gen Desk. It is an AI automation troubleshooting tool meant to be a companion alongside you to help build out your flows, to help troubleshoot your automations, and trying to get you through those error messages that you constantly receive. Let's hop right into the video. Now, this is a bit of an older build I did a few months ago when I was more new to n8n. So I actually had to go in, make some modifications, and then I actually had a whole kind of other end of the flow that wasn't really too relevant to this video. But just to kind of go over the value of what this flow actually does, it produces fully researched, outlined, written LinkedIn articles for cents before AI really came into the picture. And even with the early days of ChatGPT, you would have to pay, hundreds of dollars if you kind of wanted professionally written, or you'd have to spend hours yourself to write professional articles, and be able to post them on LinkedIn. But this does it for way cheaper, and it does it a lot faster. So I have a form submission node. So you go ahead and take a look at that. The form title, LinkedIn articles. You have to enter your article idea and description. Actually, let me take this last field out. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you actually enter your topic and you enter the description of your topic, just so the AI has some more context along with it, right? So, like for example, say I want to write an article about prompt engineering, and then in the description, I'd type out, I want to cover the basics of prompt engineering, best practices, and kind of a bit about where it's going, right? Something basic like that. Then it'll go on to the title generator. And now the key in all of this is actually in the prompts. It's a lot of prompt engineering, it's a lot of fine tuning the system messages for the agents, right? And now the reason, and you might notice here, we could zoom in a bit. I've used just a simple LLM model here, and then I've actually used different agents for each of the following steps. Now, the reason why I use the agents, and an LLM model or a chain node could do the job theoretically. But the main reason I use the agent is, one, you have a lot more room to work with stuff if you kind of want to experiment, if you want to attach tools, different types of tools. If you want to call other workflows, maybe you have like a completely other research workflow you want to call with your research agent, stuff like that. It makes it a lot easier to configure. And then two, I actually wanted to use different models for my outline and my writing agent. Actually, I should change that probably for my editing agent as well. Let's go ahead, open up OpenRouter. I do really enjoy using Claude's models, Claude 3.7, for writing and editing specifically. Okay, so we have the title generator that'll push that to the research agent, and as you can see here, I have the SERP API, so it's able to do these simple Google searches. Obviously, you can hook up anything to this agent. For example, in another flow, I actually had an entire other Perplexity research flow that was hooked up to my agent that the agent was able to call, was able to actually access Perplexity's deep research API, and it had some really good articles and research that it could pull from that. So once the topic and the description of the topic is fully researched, then it pushes it to the outline agent, which is run on Claude 3.7 right now. After the outline agent, the fully outlined topic and the title is pushed to the writing agent. The writing agent has its system messages, which then pushes it to the editing agent. The editing agent is just kind of an extra step that I like to add, just to kind of add another layer of proofreading, especially when you're writing these long form articles. And then finally, you can send an email to whoever needs the article. Again, I've mentioned this in my other LinkedIn videos. The LinkedIn API is extremely difficult to work with. They are very picky. The process takes a long time. So I find it specifically when you're trying to post for LinkedIn, when you're trying to automate content for LinkedIn, it's a lot easier just to kind of store the articles, store the post somewhere, and then go ahead and manually post them at your discretion. Now, if I'm being honest, the main work, the brunt of the work is taken out with this automation. All you have to do as a user, go ahead, throw it into LinkedIn yourself, format it, and there you have it, a fully formatted, researched, and written LinkedIn article for yourself. Okay, so let's take a look and hop into the actual system messages that I have for these agents. Let's go ahead and click save. Okay, cool. So this is for the title agent. You are a professional LinkedIn headline strategist specializing in crafting compelling, high performing article titles. Your goal is to generate a single optimized title based on a provided article topic. Title must maximize engagement, align with LinkedIn's professional audience, and follow platform best practices, as well as use any main keywords explicitly mentioned in the topic and description. We give it some context, some instructions over here. Generate a single optimized LinkedIn title. We're just trying to hone in and kind of make sure that the model knows what it needs to do. Title guidelines: the length, keep it between 50 and 70 characters. The tone, use an active voice, concise phrasing, and avoid jargon. Tailor the title to LinkedIn's professional audience. If you're going to be formulating your own system message for your agent, if you do end up trying this out, best LinkedIn practices for your niche, that's something I'd recommend. Okay, so let's take a look. The future of so then we go ahead and give it some examples. Okay, and then we have the standard operating procedure. So read and understand the LinkedIn article topic, extract the most compelling and valuable insights, craft a concise, engaging, and professional title, ensure the title follows LinkedIn best practices, deliver the final title in plain text with no extra formatting. Okay, cool. Honestly, the system messages in this flow are a bit long. There's some stuff that I would maybe look back on and trim out. But for now, these do the job. Okay, let's take a look at the research agent. It's a tools agent, so it has a tool connected to it. Let me take a look at the system message. You are a research assistant specializing in gathering external fact-based data to strengthen LinkedIn articles. Your task is to use SERP API to conduct in-depth research based on provided article titles. Now we go over what the research must strictly focus on the specific topic mentioned. Give it some context. You'll only receive the title article without a predefined outline. Give it a bit more instructions about the input, how it should process. So here we go. See, we have some discrepancy here. I actually had Tableau hooked up to this before, which is another kind of search API that is supposed to be optimized for LLMs. But let's see. Let's go ahead. SERP. Use the SERP API to find and extract recent statistics, industry reports, real world examples. Make sure it's published within the last 12 to 44 months. That's a bit late. Let's go ahead and make some changes here. 2 to 3 months. Let's say that. Unless historical context is necessary, from credible and authoritative resources, output requirements, research guidelines. And we give it an example at the end, some standard operating procedures down here, and final notes. Okay. So once that research is completed, it's sent to the outline agent. You are an expert content strategist specializing in crafting high impact LinkedIn article outlines. Your task is to transform a research enhanced document into a structured, skimmable, and engaging article outline. So basically, what we're trying to do is make this as optimized for the writing agent to take a look at this outline provided from the outline agent and be able to understand it as quickly as possible, and then be able to write a full article off of that. Then we can go into the editing agent, and then it goes into the writing agent, goes to the editing agent. So let's take a look at the bit of the so you are an expert LinkedIn article writer specializing in crafting engaging, professional, and insightful long-form content. Your task is to transform a detailed article outline into a fully developed, high quality LinkedIn article that resonates with professionals, decision makers, and thought leaders. Obviously, if you're really trying to hone in and go for a specific niche, you can go ahead and specifically mention that in your system prompts. So a lot of building out these agents, yes, it's the JSON, the data being taken from one agent or one node to the next. It's a lot of which tools you're using, but how is the agent supposed to know what it has to do if you're not specifying it? If your system prompt or your system message isn't up to par, if it isn't, guiding the agent and really telling it what you want the agent to do, it's not going to have the desired results. Let's see. Okay, cool. We give some instructions, just typical stuff. Instructions, more context, example of of an output, and we have some final notes at us, SOPs, and then we have the final notes at the end. Again, I would maybe go in and trim some of these system messages. Sometimes they can tend to be too long, but let's see. You are an expert article editor responsible for refining professional LinkedIn articles. Your goal is to enhance readability, ensure clarity, and maintain factual accuracy. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and then we can see how my Gmail is current. We can see how my Gmail node is currently set up. So let's go ahead and see if we can test this out. So I'll go ahead, let's test the workflow. So I want to cover the basics of prompt engineering, best practices, and what the skill might look like in the future. So let's go ahead and submit that and see how it works with the entire flow. Okay, so that went through our title one fairly fast. Now our research agent is hitting the SERP API, doing the research. So everything looks to be working fairly smoothly right now. Okay, cool. It's doing multiple queries. Let's see how many times it kind of hits the API. For SERP API, it's already built into n8n, but for the free tier, you'll only get about 100 searches per month. So if you're trying to do like maybe at most 2 to 3 articles a week, you should be fine, depending on how complex the topics you want to research are. Okay, went through the outline. It's hitting Open Router, which basically has access to all these LLMs. Makes it easier for you to kind of hook into different LLMs that you want to use and kind of want your agent to be running off of. Okay, so it went through the outline agent. It's going through the writing agent. Let's see what it does. Obviously, the step's going to take a bit longer because it's a bit more of a function. Let's see. Okay, looks like the flow successfully completed. Let's take a look at the final article. Okay, so I went ahead and copy pasted the completed article. So actually, there was a few JSON mistakes that I had in my workflow, so I had to go back and fix that and rerun the flow just to be fully transparent with you guys. Okay, let's take a look. Mastering prompt engineering, best practices for future-proof skills. Let's go over the introduction. As AI increasingly shapes our digital landscape, effectively communicating with these systems has evolved from a technical specialty to a professional necessity. Organizations rapidly adopting AI across departments face a widening divide, not between those with and without access to AI tools, but between those who can strategically leverage them and those who merely use them. Okay, that's a pretty decent intro. It has different title. It has different sections. What is prompt engineering and why it matters now? Core best practices for effective prompt engineering. So if we call back to the thing that I actually put in the description, I just want to go over the basics of prompt engineering, best practices, and then how it's looking to shape up in the future. So let's see, be explicit and clear, provide sufficient context, structure for success, real world applications across industry. So customer service transformation, research in academia, content creation and marketing, developing future-proof prompt engineering skills. So adaptability as a core competency from technical skills to a strategic asset. And then it has a conclusion and it has some kind of hashtags at the end when you do want to end up posting it on LinkedIn. So this is a fully researched, outlined, written, and edited LinkedIn article in about, I'd say, a minute or two. Obviously, there can be some stuff to make improvements to, maybe if you want a bit more of a stylized version of your writing, maybe you could provide an agent examples of your own writing and be like, oh, I want it in this tone, I want it to be written this way. If you want to do it for a team of people, you'd have to go ahead, collect a bunch of their different writing examples, turn that into a system prompt, feed it to an agent, and then you can kind of have personalized, stylized articles for people's specific LinkedIn accounts. But this is a good start. This is just a simple flow. It's about 4 agents. It's really cheap to run this. You can even do the research part for free. I don't see any, really outlandish statistics. Obviously, I would run this through maybe ChatGPT or Gemini just to kind of fact check it properly. But the overall style of the writing is okay. It's professional. It's clear on what it's writing about. There doesn't seem to be too many. Obviously, there's some grammarly stuff, right? But there doesn't seem to be any typos or anything when I went over it the first time. So everything looks good. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys want to see more of this, like, comment, subscribe. And again, if you're a beginner with AI, you want to learn how to start making money with AI, check out our free AI starter kit. And if you're making AI automations, if you're using N8n on a weekly, on a daily basis, AI Gendesk is the tool for you, your AI automation troubleshooting companion. Go ahead and check that out. The links will be in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your day.